You know what's so funny about New Year's is that, you make all these plans and resolutions and you're going to do all this stuff. And here we are. It's like January's almost done. And it's like, damn, I'm already kind of starting to slow down. Like, damn, bro, come on. I'm already starting to slow down. Like, I'm tired, dude. Dreaming big takes a lot of energy. Am I right, dude? Am I right? Am I right? I'm not. Did you relate to that? Get a grip. Strap the fuck in. That was a trap. I said a trap for you. Did you like that little intro where I made you feel better about not keeping your promises to yourself? Keep your fucking promises to yourself. You made a dream. You made a vision board. You made a wish list. You made a bucket list. You printed all that stuff out from Pinterest. You bought those magazines, those vintage magazines. You chopped them up. You glued them on a board. You put that board up in your house, or you built it on Canva. You learned how to use Adobe InDesign to make all this stuff and to make it a phone background. You need to keep the fucking momentum. You need to lock in. Lock the fuck in. You have goals, you have dreams. Open a fucking calendar. Where's the vision board? Go find it again. You told everybody about all the stuff that you were going to do this year. And what's this that I see? What's this that I see and that I hear about you? You're losing steam and January's not even out yet. Get the fuck to work. Lock in. Don't do this to yourself. Keep your promises to yourself. Keep your promises to yourself. Open your heart to me, Bella. Open your heart to me. Keep your promises. I don't want to hear the excuses this early in the year. All right? Whatever you had to do to visualize the vision that you wanted for yourself, and you're going to abandon it before the first month is out? And you think that I would let you commiserate about that here in this space? Absolutely not. Huh? If you need to watch Marty Supreme again to make this happen, then go watch Marty Supreme again. Okay? Find the most toxic part of you and feed it into your ego. How dare you? Get serious. Come on. We're leaving in 10. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to 10 at a Time, the short long form show. I'm your host, William Pierreville. Woo, ciao. Baby, every time I get on this phone, all I see is Minnesota is really turning the fuck up, y'all. They got like 2,000 ICE agents in Minnesota. That's a lot of ICE agents. I think that that's actually a significant percentage of the total number of agents that they have. And they're giving those boys help. I mean, it's just like the worst thing you've ever seen in the contemporary American news cycle. It's just like fucking people being ripped from workplaces, cars, homes, people hiding. I mean, I keep seeing videos of people who are in Minnesota talking about how schools are shut down. Dude, the violence that this man has brought into our streets. I don't want to get too the fuck much into it, but I just want to say, I mean, I had to go out and seek this information. Last week we talked about Renee, Nicole Good. Yes, we did. We talked about multiple people who have been victims to the violence of ICE. And quiet as it's kept, you would imagine that maybe the violence has stopped the way that they've suppressed this shit online. I had to go out and pursue this information actively. You know what I'm saying? None of it comes up organically on my feed. I'm also watching the news. That's fine. That's what the news is for. But it's ridiculous. And I want us all to still, stay attentive, stay vigilant. Something about like paratroopers dropping down in Minnesota. It's fucking crazy. And I said it last week. I know there's no one in my audience that identifies as a supporter of this nonsense. There's nothing that I say, there's nothing about me that would ever make someone like that feel welcome in this space. But fuck ICE, man. Fuck these like monsters, mongrels, lowlife, bottom-feeding scum, and the people who fuck with that. They're losing the narrative war. Because, dude, I mean, the same thing as like the civil rights movement and the hoses and the dogs and the whatever. Same thing with, like the visual, people having to engage with the visuals of what their policies, the policies that they support, the politicians that they vote for, people dealing with like the visual manifestations of those things. Watching violence pour out into American streets. Anyway, I can't even. So today's 10 at a time. Well, this is what we're going to talk about. I have a big question for you. And I want to know more about how you keep secrets in your own life. That's one. Number two, I want to talk to you about wood. We're going to talk a lot about wood today. Number three, when was the last time you betrayed someone? We'll get into that soon. And number four, It's a 10-year anniversary, a very special 10-year anniversary. Let's get into it right at the top. I was on TikTok and I saw someone ask a very interesting question that I want to engage right here and right now with all of you. If you had supernatural powers, who would you tell? Would you tell anyone? I think generationally speaking, it's a very apt question because I feel like as a group, we've all grown up in a very Twilight world. You know what I mean? Vampires and werewolves, Interview with a Vampire, the sexiest show on American television. Y'all thought that it was Heated Rivalry. The sexiest show on American television is Interview with a Vampire. And they don't even have to really like get into the fucking no Heated Rivalry does. You know what I mean? I think that we like the sci-fi-ification of the American mainstream and American coming of age stories. Everyone has superpowers. Everything is a superhero story. Every coming of age story is actually a story about how you save the world. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, blah, blah. It's a question that I feel like we have to grapple with often, even if we never put ourselves in that situation, because I'm watching this movie and I'm like, damn, why would you tell Spider-Man? Why would you tell Mary Jane? She really doesn't need to know, or does she? Here's the crux of the question to me. Two things. There are two things that are at the center of this. One is, what kind of power is it? Two is, what are the villains that we're up against? What's the danger at hand? Afoot, dare I say. What is the danger afoot? Are we talking about like, I have superpowers, I have supernatural abilities, and therefore I have to assume that there are other superpowered, other supernatural abilitied people around the world, and that they might have ill intentions, and that those ill intentions might be specifically pointed towards me? If this is like I'm the Flash and I activated the Speed Force, but everyone can have the Speed Force, and now the Reverse Flash is trying to kill my mom and my dad, and make me an orphan, then yes, absolutely, you need to tell everyone that you care about that they need to be vigilant. Don't go into any weird vans. Don't walk down alleys by yourself. Like, keep this communicator on you. Also, if I would have like high tech technology, and like I would like hook up all of my friends with like communication devices and stuff like that. Things that they could like shoot into the sky and like signal me to come to wherever they are, type shit. Something faster than a cell phone and more discreet than a walkie-talkie. Great. So I'm like, damn. You need to actually be on your P's and Q's. Don't get caught up in any bullshit, because I can't promise that I'm going to save you every single motherfucking time. In that scenario where there are villains for my powers, then I absolutely have to tell the people that I care about, because knowledge is power. They have to know. If this was like a Hancock type situation, like I'm pretty sure in Hancock he's the only one with powers. If this was like Hancock, I would tell so many people. I would tell my parents. I would tell my friends. I'd be like, hey, keep this a fucking secret. I would tell people who I thought could keep the secret, because I don't want it to get too out there, because I don't want like the American government to come and snatch me up and do experiments on me and replicate my body to do evil and violent things. You get me? Kind of like a Lex Luthor taking the DNA of Superman and creating Superboy, and then like the Cadmus Project, stuff like that. Here's the other thing, right? Is it a messy power? If it's a messy power and I would need to tell people in order to like make it make sense, then that's just gonna have to be what it is. If it's like, oh shit, I'm a werewolf, and every time I turn into a werewolf, I rip all my clothes off and I'm naked as a wolf, and then when I transform back into a human, my pants are tattered and torn like the Incredible Hulk. How am I going to explain that to someone that I share a home with? I have to tell them. But if it's a discrete power like telekinesis, like I can move things with my mind and no one would ever be able to tell, I would be a bit more discreet about it. Because fuck you, mind your business. You know what I mean? Mind the business that pays you. This is the business that pays me, because I would also use it to do things to enrich myself, like sports betting. Just kidding. I don't want to joke about sports betting. The thing about like, will you tell people about the supernatural powers that you have? I think the most pressing example that I have of anything like that is fucking Teen Wolf. And I can't talk too much about Teen Wolf, because I get a little too activated when I think about that specific season of Dylan O'Brien doing one of the best TV acting performances of all time on a deeply underfunded MTV show. That was crazy. Or maybe it wasn't underfunded. Maybe it was just like 2011 TV CGI. I don't know. But my real Dylan O'Brien heads, you know exactly what I'm talking. Exactly. When Styles went into the void, Styles is one of the best TV characters. Exactly. See what I'm saying? I can't get too much into Teen Wolf. But Beacon fucking Hills, dude, as an example of what happens when there's just a supernatural underbelly to a small town where mysterious things happen. Beacon Hills, why anyone would ever still live in that town makes no fucking sense to me. I'm watching episodes, I'm like thinking like, okay, like Smallville, crazy things happen in Smallville, I guess, like that's kind of, but Beacon Hills, the level of like supernatural violence in Beacon Hills, every week in Beacon Hills they would be like, oh, 10 boys got mauled by a wild animal that's claw marks don't match any of the footprints of any of the local species, and also judging by these claw marks, this creature is 11 feet tall. And everyone's like, y'all cancel class for snow days. That's what I want to know. Are they canceling school for snow days in Beacon Hills, but not for the supernatural murder of a dozen boys on the lacrosse team? You know what I mean? For weird sightings of massive Bigfoot-sized, like canine toothed creatures roaming through the woods, deers and things being eaten half in one bite. Like, I feel like y'all are canceling community events and like work and school for less. Beacon Hills was insane. But I did like Teen Wolf so much. I also liked the other creatures. I think that was like a really cool. Beacon Hills was kind of like the Fortnite, like the Super Smash Brothers of supernatural creatures. I like that Teen Wolf just kept adding more and more creatures and supernatural things to it. Like the Druids lore was really cool in Teen Wolf. I feel like the Kitsune was really cool. The like fox thing, like the like void styles, the banshees. Eventually they were like, oh yeah, we have werewolves, and then there's a beta, there's sigma, there's alpha, and then there's also were coyotes and where that, like, that was a little too much. I like were coyotes, like, okay, let's everybody take a fucking chill pill. But like the chimeras, oh my gosh, it was cool. It was really fucking cool. I just don't know why anyone lived in that town. Especially if you live in that town and no one has specifically come up to you to say, hey, I'm part of a supernatural creature class and I can protect you. I get why Styles feels kind of safer in Beacon Hills because he's best friends with the Alpha. Yeah. And also he's Styles. Also a giant missed opportunity not to give Styles needed to like actually have power. Like Styles should have been a druid in the end. He should have been like, like they should have like found a way to make him unknowingly a magical class or like a supernatural class. You know, it just made no sense because he was actually so tapped in ways. Like he should have been like some type of fortune teller or some type of mind reader or some type of, I don't know. I just fuck with Styles a lot, dude. I fuck with Dylan O'Brien, to be honest. I fuck with Dylan O'Brien. Let's move on. Do you guys want to talk about wood? And by wood I mean a wooden desk. Do you guys see that wooden desk behind me? If you're listening to the podcast, then no, you can't see. So I have like this 1950s antique wooden teacher's desk. It's so big, it's so heavy, clunky, dude, but it's beautiful to me. The top of it is like the original wood. There are water rings and water stains on the top. I hope to get it treated someday. I hope to whatever. But like it's also painted this like really beautiful blue. It's actually I didn't even piece this together, but I think that the blue on the desk is actually what inspired me around the blue for the piano that I painted out there. But you guys, I've had this desk since I lived in the Bronx. I've had this desk for 2-3 years. When I moved to the Bronx, I moved in with a friend who had a place up there and I subletted a room and I lived there for like a year. Me living in that apartment in the Bronx was the first time that multiple things coincided at the same time. Me having a place to myself, right? Like a sublet, like a room to myself or, you know, a place to live like for a long period of time, right? For more than like 6 months. That was right. On top of the fact that the place that I did have to stay there, right, was unfurnished. That usually in the past, if I had a place that I could stay for a very long time, like a sublet or like a lease or something, it would be at a furnished place. So it was a long-term stay and it was unfurnished and I had money. When I moved to the Bronx, dude, my life changed. It was probably the first time that I did like a real brand deal. Shout out to Hinge. I'll never talk shit about Hinge because I love the service. I found my girlfriend on the service. She's the love of my life. honestly, this is my hot take, this is my hot take. Sorry about it. Especially in New York City, if you are on the dating apps and you're like, everyone is ugly, no one's interesting, I don't know, there are no guys on here, there are no girls on here, everyone's whack, everyone's lame, skill issue. If you can't, on the biggest city in the world, meet someone on the meeting someone app, not to say that every person you meet has to be your like spouse, your life partner, but like, if you're like, damn, I can't do the even entry level thing of the app that it's designed to do, which is to aggregate people who I might get along with and be attracted to, skill issue, unfortunately. Because let me tell you, this motherfucker's doing it in Panama City, Florida, and there's only three dudes out there. There are only three people out there that are single in the gender that you're attracted to, and one of them is your cousin. And somehow they can make Hinge work. So anyway, this is a tangent. But Hinge, I did my first brand deal with Hinge also. And that single deal radicalized my mind where I was like, wait, they paid me the same amount of money that I would have made in months of doing an acting job. Like months. And at that time, I didn't have a manager. I didn't have an agent. They reached out to me directly. I didn't have to split like a commission with anyone. And honestly, hindsight 2020, it was like a lot of money for me at the time. But now that I know more about the ecosystem and the industry, I'm like, that was like fine. It was like fine. It's just more money than I've ever had at a single time. So I was like, wait, I can actually furnish this room that I just got. So I got on Facebook Marketplace and I found this desk. And at the time I was doing this series called No Ubers. So I refused to get a moving service to move the desk for me. I called my friend Andrew. I rented a U-Haul. We went to go pick it up from this lady who was moving out of New York. But anyway, all that to say, I love this desk. I think it's like such a huge part of my story in New York and in making a home for myself. I never want to let it go. That being said, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day and I got roasted for not having two monitors. I have a laptop and I've been working on the laptop. I thought that was fine. But then I found out that actually everybody who's really fucking serious, if you're really serious, if you're really about your business, if you really have an entrepreneurial essence inside of you, if you really have a gunner and a shooter and a go-getter and a dog inside you, you need two monitors. I didn't know that. Hey, sorry. Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking shit about people who double screen all the time, but apparently everybody's double screening, which is something that I knew. Anyway, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess so. I do a lot of work on my laptop. That the basis of my job is all digital. Let me get a fucking second monitor. I go into the process of shopping for a second monitor. My thing is, dude, I love technology. I don't think of myself as like consumer. I'm a consumer. I don't look clothes, shoes, accessories, like, all this to like a home, like whatever. I don't really care for that stuff. But technology, I love spending money on technology. I love buying a little like electrical doodad gadget trinket. I love gadgets, dude. They're my favorite thing. Cameras, lenses, music things like instruments, microphones. I love all that stuff. Anyway, I don't know what to get. So I get on YouTube and I say, home desk setup. That was a mistake. Because swiftly I'm inundated with hundreds of videos of these dudes who I don't even know what kind of talent this is. It's almost like savant, dude. They're brilliant people. These dudes are like, here's how I set up my at-home desk. And then you watch them start to like 3D print custom receptacles and wire hiders and custom pegboards with custom pegs and custom holsters for the different gadgets and things to drill. And they all have those like flat standing desks that are just like, one piece of wood on like on a hydraulic piece of metal that goes up and down. Okay, sure. But all of the accessories like the TV monitor stand, like all, the microphone stand, all of those things are things that like clip to the desk as though your desk is thin. I can't clip shit to this wooden desk because it doesn't have a clippable ledge. It doesn't have a ledge that's long. So anyway, I'm looking at all this stuff. I got to find out how to fit this on my desk, so on and so forth. I'm watching like 3 hours of desk building tutorials, ASMR, like a documentary series of research analysis, whatever, of people who were like, here's how to get the most optimal desk. And I lived for it, dude. It was so incredible. So fucking cool. I ended up getting this like 18 port USB hub. It was way too much money. That's kind of fucking embarrassing. But again, I cannot say no to a gadget, dude. I can't. I need them all. I want them all. Everything that happens in my life, I'm like, I wonder if there's I wonder if there's like a gadget that could help me with this. I just love them. I just love them. Gachi Akuda, if I wasn't Gachi Akuda, like that would be like one of my things, is like one of my, what is it? Instruments. It would be like my audio interface or like a microphone or something like that. Or Gachi Akuda, if you don't know, is an anime that is about, I'm actually not that deep into it, so I really don't, I shouldn't be the one to tell you, but it's like a class-based conflict where there's a whole portion of the population that lives in this kind of like underworld, underbelly setting, and they have semi-magical abilities where they can enchant an object that they've invested a lot of tender love and care and time and effort into. So like something that you engage with on a daily basis, if you love it so much and have taken so much care of it over a long period of time, then if you're one of the chosen superpowered people in this underbelly world, then you might be able to conjure that thing into a weapon and fight these kind of monsters with it. Okay, cool. So my Gachi-Kuda instrument would be a pan, or like my chef's knife, or any one of my gadgets. Anyway, I watch all these fucking tutorials. I move my desk across the room to a different side of the room so that the feng shui is better. I need to, you know what I mean? My original floor plan, I was fucking up the feng shui. Shout out to the upstairs neighbor's girl. I was fucking up the feng shui. Literally, the feng shui was literally like fucking wonky. Super wonky. Steph couldn't get out of bed, clearly. Like there was no room to walk, so on and so forth. So I literally rearranged the floor plan of my room. I moved the lamp. I moved this. I get the monitor. It's a great monitor. I get a keyboard. I make sure that it's a keyboard that has the sounds, that it makes the sound that it makes the sounds that I want it to make. I get a mouse that's ergonomic. My hand sits so nice and smooth into the mouse. I've never had no shit like this in my life before. You get me? And then I set up a light. That's the light right there. I set up a light so that I don't have to face the window because I left the window. I don't have any natural light on my face anymore. The light comes with a knob that I can twist to change the brightness and the hue and the warmth of the light at the same time, or I can tap it and turn it off. What? And I get the USB port. What? And I get a new audio interface, which I've needed. The old audio interface that I've had for like 15 years. I got it off Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or something in Orlando when I was like a sophomore in high school. The thing's super beat up. Background noise, hissing, whirring, whatever. This new one is so nice. And I never let myself have one. And honestly, I think that trauma, that having had not of electrical things that I wanted, that's why I can't say no to a gadget to this day. But anyway, all that to say, I also find out that I can now live stream onto TikTok Live from my Mac. You were able to stream onto TikTok from a Windows device for quite some time, but they didn't have the app, the TikTok Live Studio app for Mac for a long time, for like 2.5 years. And I've been checking regularly. And then I checked and they had it. And I bought a game controller so that I could download, emulate it. This is all way too nerdy. But all that to say, dude, my desk now is all I want to do. All the work I want to do, I do at the desk. I don't want to work in bed. I don't want to work on the couch. I don't want to work anywhere else. I want to sit at the desk. I want to eat at the desk. It honestly feels like having a family computer again. Like I'm in the computer room as a child. Like I'm in the computer room. I'm at the family computer. We have an e-machine. We have the little like doo-doo speakers on the side, and I'm watching YouTube videos on dial-up internet. That's how it feels every time I'm on my desk now. Like actually, it feels like a combination of that and Tony Stark building the first Iron Man suit in a cave in Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia. Where was he? It's just like my fucking favorite thing, dude. It's just my favorite. I love it. Let's call that 10. No, hold on. Let's not call that 10. So listen, that shit that we were talking about at the top of the show, you needing to chase your dreams and you needing to wake the fuck up and you not falling off the horse and you not da 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 da. Have you considered that actually what's in the ways that you don't have get a desk, dude? Get a desk. Get one off of Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is so great because it's the great bartering grounds of humankind now. You know, Facebook Marketplace is like, hey, I'll give you 3 magic beans for an old teacher's desk. Does that sound fair? Does that sound like, I don't know, let's make it work. I love Facebook Marketplace. We're trying to get my dad a new car because he's driving a 2000 Toyota 4Runner. And honestly, we love his car. Like, it's kind of the most reliable car in our entire family. Strangely, it's the oldest. It's got the most miles on it. But like the interior of the car, like the seats are falling apart. Like it's too much, and we don't want him driving it. So where do we go to find my dad a car? Facebook fucking Marketplace, man. And I'm gonna get nasty with it. I've never bought a car on Facebook. I've never bought a car before in my life. I don't think anyone in my family has besides my dad. That's a very dad-coded thing to do. But now, and you know what? I'm in a paternal era. But anyway, yeah, I'm excited to get on Facebook Marketplace and see what offers they have for cars, used cars. And I'm so excited to offer someone a price $10,000 below what they asked. I don't know. Is that going to work? I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's 10. So look, my homeboy's on Broadway. His name's Michael. He's a friend of mine that I've had for, oh man, I've been friends with Michael for at least 6 years now. We met in Florida. No longer than that. At least 8-9 years I've known Michael. Incredibly talented, great dancer, great actor, great vocalist. Went to school in Orlando, which is where I grew up, but that's not where I went to school. And we met because I went back to my hometown and I met up with one of his classmates who was going to school. Anyway, me and Michael have been friends for quite some time. And the thing about Michael is that he keeps a motherfucking job. Specifically, he keeps a job on Broadway. And right now he's in Chess on Broadway. I got invited to go see it and I surprised him. I was like, oh my God, that was so good. It was a very normal presentation of Chess, but afterwards we got a very special Q&A session with the cast, including Aaron Tveit, who apparently I went with my friend Laura and she was like, oh my God, is that the guy from Gossip Girl? Is he? You tell me. I think you're thinking of Penn Badgley or who are they, like Chuck Bass? That is not Aaron Tveit. No. He's like some fucking cousin or uncle or something like that. I don't know. I didn't know Aaron Tveit was that kind of famous because she's not a theater girl at all, but she clocked it. I mean, she said, that's the motherfucker from Gossip Girl. I said, okay. All right. I know that he's a Tony winner. Also, Leah Michelle is in the show. Shout out to the Gleeks. Leah Michelle is in it. It's a really, really good show. And Michael is really, really good in it. And I don't know. I wanted to talk about it because I just feel, dude, it's such a beautiful thing to be able to see your friends like have their dreams come true and them live through their dreams and them kind of recalibrate and create new dreams in place of the ones that they just checked off the list. It's such a fucking blessing, man. It's such a blessing. And honestly, for me, I feel even more excited about it because I, not that I gave Michael education or training or whatever, but because we've been so close for so long, I feel like I've also participated in him becoming the kind of person that could even achieve this much of what he hoped for. And I hope that when I feel success or when I have success, that he feels the same to me because he's absolutely a part of who I am and a part of my story. And, me even moving to New York was only possible because Michael let me crash on his couch and sublet a room in his apartment when our other friend, who was his roommate at the time, left. And Michael was like, yeah, Woodland can stay here and pay the rent and whatever. Me and Michael have a really just connected special relationship. We're both immigrant children. We're both from the South. We're both really driven towards achievement, which I think is kind of part of the immigrant thing, acts of service, blah, blah, blah. I think that there's a lot of shared history there. But I think I really respect the way that he sees his work and sees the world around him and how he chooses to show up in it. There are very few people that I respect as much as I respect him. And to see him do the work that he does is really exciting. So after the show, me and him and Laura, another person that I love and adore, my friend Laura, who I bring up every episode. Hi, Laura. I know you're watching this. Hello, Laura. Hi, Laura. Hi, Laura. Leave a comment below, Laura. Everybody down there say hey, Laura. Anyway, me, Michael, and Laura, we went to this restaurant where Michael He's a regular at it's this restaurant with this Italian dude named Andrea, the most Italian man in the fucking world, dude. This dude is like he's more Italian than anyone in the Jersey Shore. He's like the most Italian man. That's not very Italian. He's the most Italian man in the world. He's like, "Oh, Michael, it's good to see you. Hey, hello, you bring your friend." That's a terrible Italian accent. Now that's offensive. Anyway, this guy brings drinks. We're chatting it up. We spent so many hours after the show just shooting the shit in this random like Italian restaurant bar until it starts to close, like 2:00 in the morning, dude. I love this city. I love my friends here. I love my life here. All that to say, cheer on your friends, dude. Like that. I was so excited to see that. Not Michael, Leah Michelle. I was so excited to see Leah Michelle. She was great. Chess on Broadway is kind of like if Heated Rivalry and Challengers had a baby. And that was much less gay. No gay stuff in it really, but a lot of Soviet geopolitics and a lot of love triangles. A lot of men using the sport and the game that they love as a proxy to compete for the woman whose affection they desire. A lot of that. No EDM soundtracks. No, yeah, it's a much different soundtrack though. Let's keep going. Dude, are you guys watching Traitors USA? I went to an event the other day that was called the Traitors Experience. I did not know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it except for the fact that they told me to come to this thing, and I read the headline. It said Traitors and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll be there. I'm free, whatever. I thought it was just going to be like a Traitors themed mix and mingle, blah, blah, blah. So I pull up to the thing. It's massive. It was at the Wayland in Brooklyn, which is this like massive building. I try to walk through the front door. Security's like, I turn my head. I see a sign down into the basement that says the Traitors. I said, the basement? What the fuck do I look like going in through the basement? What the fuck? Y'all want me to use a service door? Fuck this shit. And no, I'm just kidding. I go down into the door and it leads to like a basement. It leads to like a big cellar, bar, lounge kind of reception area, party area. I'm like, okay, cool. I signed a waiver. Didn't even read what I signed. Signed my life away. I don't know what the fuck I signed. They gave me a name tag. Boom. I had to write my own name on it because I don't trust them. They gave me a name tag. Boom. I hit my head. Boom. But I had a praying grandmother. I walk in. Guess who I see? Dude, Rob C. from literally this season of Traitors, who has a notorious Survivor podcast, like Big Brother pod. He has a game show podcast. That's, he didn't win. I don't think he won Survivor or anything like that. But I think that like since being on it, he started this podcast, and that's his big claim to fame now. And now he's on the Traitors, or he was on the Traitors. He got murdered like third because he couldn't keep it low key that he has a masterful mind. He clocked that the Traitors were doing a murder in plain sight before anybody else did, and he couldn't keep it to himself, and now he's dead. Derek was there. I saw Rob C, and I was like, dude, what happened? You got to shut the fuck up. He's like, I know, I was trying to protect my fellow faithfuls. I was trying to protect Tiffany. I was like, that's noble. I would have killed you too, though. Not gonna lie. Derek is there from last season, from Big Brother and BB Unlocked. It was like crazy. And then they said, all right, everybody, gather up. We're going to the next room. I said, the next room? Going to the next room, they start handing everybody blindfolds. Blindfolds on. House guests, welcome to Scotland. My name's Alan Cumming, and today we're playing Traitors. That was Scottish, that was Irish, that was Australian, that was Jamaican. And the Jamaican is the most culturally sensitive because there is a correlation between Scottish accents and Jamaican accents. So if you thought that was crazy, then I just want you to know that you're not historical like I am. Dude, it's an entire simulation of literally Traitors, the game show that we're playing in real time with like 12 people, 13, 14 people in the room. It was incredible. The first challenge was like us like figuring out they gave us these menus, and the menus had clues on them, and you had to make sure you had to like create the conditions under which every single one of the items on the list, the clues, create the conditions in the seating chart where all of them were true. So it was like, the queen sits in the center. Side A has all men. Side B has all women. The three men with bow ties are all sitting next to each other, and the three men with their arms crossed are all sitting next to each other. And also, this man with the bow tie and his arms crossed is sitting next to Michael Rappaport. Oh, sorry to speak of the devil, y'all. We do that. We do like a library puzzle thing. There's a maze. We do a maze. That's one of the challenges. They start recruiting traitors. Like the traitor gets to recruit a new traitor. Now there's 3 traitors. We do a mannequin challenge. No, not. Hold on, not the mannequin challenge. Not Black Beetle. Not Black Beetle. That girl is a real crowd pleaser. We'll get to that in a second, actually. And then we get to the end, and they have a replica round table. We all sit around and start like listing accusations and the reasons why we think insert person here is or isn't a traitor. It was fucking awesome, dude. It was fucking awesome. Are you guys watching Traitors though? You got to get there. This season is really good, although something is going on because one of the, all of my favorite people are going back to back to back, which means all the black people are being eliminated back to back to back. That's crazy. First Portia, then Tiffany. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I'm not all the way caught up even. I just know that this happens because I got it spoiled for me. Monet Exchange gets eliminated. Holy shit. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Are you fucking kidding me? Monet Exchange is eliminated. I heard that shit on TikTok. The thing about Traitors is that it actually is one of the game shows where implicit bias is the most relevant because the challenges don't really give you any type of clue. They don't give you any type of advantage as a faithful to guess who the traitors are. It's hard. It doesn't help you suss the traitors out because the traitors are competing for the same pot of money that the faithfuls are. So they have there's no incentive for them to sabotage in any meaningful way. As a viewer, it seems like watching the show, they're only going off vibes. They'll be like, oh, well, I do or don't. It's like only implicit bias. It seems like all of the faithfuls, whenever they decide which traitors or who they think a traitor is or who they're suspicious of, it's like they only have the vibes to go off. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, I kind of do or don't like. You know, you're watching, like Michael Rappaport, I think is the most obvious about it because he's a really pressing jam for no apparent reason. He's like, yeah, well, you don't seem trustworthy to me. Really, Michael Rappaport, like this like very openly gay Latino man doesn't seem trustworthy to you for some reason, for some strange reason. You call him out as being uniquely untrustworthy even though you've only known him for a couple of hours. Yeah? Yeah? You know, white man Colton goes hard. He's like, something about this black woman, I know that she's a traitor. Based on what? He's like, well, she's like strategizing. She's like strategizing in this strategy game. Well, look at you and a group of people strategizing right now. Wouldn't it be ridiculous if the people that you're talking to turned their back on you and accused you of being a traitor for having this conversation about strategy with them? Huh? It just the lack of actual like tangible material advantages and structure to the game makes it so that people can only go off like, you know, quiet nothings. And all those quiet nothings kind of come down to the biases that everyone came into the game with. It's still just incredible TV though. I want to be on Traitors so bad. My dream trajectory is to go from Survivor or Big Brother onto The Amazing Race, win The Amazing Race, then go on to Traitors. After Traitors, do Dancing with the Stars. That's my dream trajectory, dude. I love these shows so much. You guys don't even know. It's in my bones. They're doing a civilians season of Traitors, and part of me is like, damn, this is going to sound crazy egomaniacal, and I'm so sorry if it does. But I'm like, I might be in this kind of uncanny valley place where I'm a little too notable to be like a civilian on Traitors. They're like, no, Nikki, you have 1 million followers across platforms. You literally, you're not a civilian. Maybe, especially in a game where it's like, oh, these people, like if we're assuming that the civilians part of it is that like people don't know each other, don't have a history with each other. I'm like, damn, y'all see my TikToks or not, be honest. But also, nowhere even near am I famous enough or notable enough to be on like regular Traitors. So I'm kind of in this like in between place. And honestly, it depends on what their metrics are, and it depends on like who actually gives a fuck. They might look at my shit and be like, "Girl, nobody knows you." y'all might be looking at my shit like, "Girl, nobody knows you. Go be on Traitors." That's fair. But I don't know. In my head, I'm like, that's all ego. Be an egomaniac. I'm like, I may be a little too famous. Anyway, let's move on. This is the real thing. This is the real meat and potatoes today. Do y'all miss 2016? Be honest. Everybody online is talking about 2016. I was horrified to get on Instagram and see people like repost, like either hard grid posting things from 2016. No way. Oh my God. You have no shame. How inconsiderate of the people who are eating, who are on their lunch breaks, who are just getting up in the morning. You're going to throw some shit like that on grid? You in 2016? Or like I'm tapping through people's stories and they're like all did. Someone sent me a picture of myself from 2016 that they had on their spam account. It's not even like a friend of mine. Someone, I mean, we're colleagues. We went to the same high school. My bad. I just thought about like her watching this and me being like, something that we're not friends. I'm not saying we're not friends. Hey, girl, if you're watching this, I don't know why you're watching this. We're not that tight. But anyway, she sent me a picture of myself that she had on her spam. So one, I'm like, girl, I was on your spam. Two, I could have gone my whole life without seeing this picture of myself. It was so scary. I get the nostalgia for 2016, right? There's a lot about that time that was awesome, which we'll get to in a second. We'll talk about all the things that I thought were really cool about 2016. I promise we will. The one thing that I will not budge on, the hill that I'm going to die in terms of 2016. You guys are acting like people looked good in 2016. No one looked good in 2016. None of us looked good. Some of us looked good. Everyone looks better. Everyone looks better now than they did in 2016. Even like the parallel demographics of whoever we're talking about and what age they were at 2016 versus those ages now, those people look better. Everyone across the board looks better now. And I know that that's crazy, and I know that like maybe that's like I'm like passively reinforcing something about like cosmetic procedures and GLP-1s and whatever, because we live in such an aesthetic forward culture, but it's not any of that. It's literally the little things. 2016, no one knew how to take care of themselves. No one knew how to take care of themselves. No one knew anything about their like natural beauty or essence, dude. No one knew how to take care of their hair. People did. If you are black in particular, you look better now than you ever would have or than you ever did in 2016. I promise. You know why? Because you put that fucking flat iron down. You know why you look better now than you did in 2016? It's because, brother, your legs are too skinny for skinny jeans. You looked so top heavy. It was never meant for you. But now people know more about themselves. People know more about like what's objectively flattering about themselves. I'm not saying that like the style of 2026, the visual style of the 2020s is going to stick around forever. But I'm saying that people just generally have more knowledge about what's flattering to them. People have more access to information about how to groom and beautify different versions of beauty. You know what I'm saying? Dude, when people started wearing their curly hair again, that was like nature healing. That was like seeing dolphins in Florence. Can you imagine? That shit was incredible. And to think like a lot of people spent so long like pressing the texture out of their hair, wearing makeup that was the wrong shade, gaudy. Dude, 2016 makeup, it was fucking scary. And look, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was scary at the time too. You kind of got over it. You kind of just like coped, but like it was also scary at the time, at least for me and everybody that I was talking to, all my friends. I mean, mind you, like I lived with a group of men in 2016. We were all so debaucherous and whatever. It was kind of like a fratty house. We threw parties and stuff like that. And like, I don't know, general consensus was that shit looks crazy, but everybody's wearing it. Like everyone is wearing this crazy like drag adjacent makeup. That's just kind of what it is. when the girls transitioned from like drag inspired makeup for YouTube, from YouTube makeup artists, to just doing regular, like doing your skincare with a little, like, you know, a light foundation, a light contour, a light whatever. I don't know what the fuck people do now. I kind of do, but I don't really want to get into it. But that shit was incredible. People look like human again. Everyone looks better now than they did in 2016. Everyone looks better. Imagine me. I didn't know what haircut to get in 2016 because if you didn't grow up in Atlanta, you probably didn't have a barber that was decent. If you didn't grow up in like a, you know, Atlanta, Memphis, New York, like goddamn Washington D.C., like if you didn't grow up in a real mecca like that, you didn't have no shit like that. I had a Haitian barber. That was the worst decision I ever made. My hairline used to touch my eyebrows. You get that? But I had no choice but to go to a Haitian ass barber who fucked me up. You know, well, you know, and it was helpful because he gave me a forehead, but now it's too much forehead. It's 5 head. That's one thing I won't take back. Everyone looks better. It's kind of like video games. You know how like video games used to not have hairstyles for black characters and now they do? Imagine that, but like in real life. And that's the thing, is that a lot of y'all don't know, because a lot of the people who are feeling so much nostalgia for 2016, y'all really weren't there for real, because I was barely there for real. 2016 for me, it was my freshman year of college. I had just started. Summer 2016, graduated, prom, all that. It was incredible. It was fucking awesome. I had a car, Nissan Altima, that I was pushing. I had a girlfriend. Oh my God, it was crazy. I pull up to the University of Florida. I wasn't staying in the dorms. I was staying in an apartment off campus apartment, all this shit. And then the election happened. Doom and gloom. I'm in North Central Florida. You get me? North Central Florida sounds like a made up place. I'm in North Central South Florida. I'm in North Central South Mediterranean Florida. I'm in North Central Florida, dude. I'm at the University of Florida. The day that Hillary Clinton lost the election, the day that Donald Trump won the election, woke up in the morning and I said, "Oh my God, Hillary. Yes, we can." Check the news. Absolutely not. It's not what happened. So now I'm walking to campus, dude. Suddenly, every car on campus is a monster truck with like frat letters on it and an big ass American flag. Dude, it was so scary. People yelling. I'm going to 8:30 ballet and niggas are lit. They've been up all night partying because their guy won the election. Dude, it was so fucking scary, man. Y'all weren't there, but that was the shift. Boom. That's why everybody is so nostalgic for 2016 and the summer of 2016 in particular, because summer of 2016 was the last summer we really got before so much of the country was forced into a really violent political reckoning, the likes of which would transform the trajectory of America for the rest of time. I mean, to this point, right? And slowly more and more people have joined in the collective mass of that reckoning at various points. You know, 2016, and then Me Too, and then the pandemic, 2020 with the COVID-19, and then George Floyd, and then all the way to now, Minneapolis, the second election, the insurrection. Holy shit, the insurrection, whatever. All of this bullshit. But before that, the inception of it was 2016, because before that it was 8 years of Barack Obama, and then 8 years of George W. Bush, but a much more ignorant America. And I think that's the thing that people are nostalgic for. We're nostalgic for the hope of the youth, the optimism that came with not really knowing that much about the world, because our phones either weren't around or they weren't algorithmic. The pre-algorithmic internet was so small, you could curate it for yourself to whatever scale you desired. And when people went viral on the internet, it wasn't because, you know, people were joking about how your husband doesn't really like you because he didn't do the bird challenge well. The internet was just, it was so much of a different place because it wasn't the super highway that it is today. It was a highway, absolutely, but it was one that led to positive, constructive places more times than not. I mean, obviously, it was also radicalizing people violently. I think about like Gamergate and Anna Cartesian, what was it? Gamergate. I don't think about Gamergate and fucking the pickup artist shit and whatever. But for the most part, people were on the internet curating entire experiences for themselves. It wasn't this like super mega highway that was so deeply congested and inundating you with all of this stuff all of the time. It felt different moment to moment, dude. You could scroll to the end of Twitter. You can get on Twitter and scroll to the end and they'd be like, no more tweets now. And so you had to go back into your real life. What people are doing now with 2016, I think what we're recognizing is that there's a part of us that we left behind in 2016 or that we lost or that was taken from us. And people are trying to go back to 2016, the place before it all started, kind of like Butterfly Effect. Y'all know Butterfly Effect by Ashton Kutcher? When he goes back in time and tries to stop the bomb from going off and he goes back in time and whatever, he can't find a version of the future where he ends up with the girl and his friends don't end up dead. It's kind of like that. Everyone's trying to reach back into 2016 and take back what was taken from us or what we lost or what we left behind. And I think that they're trying to make it about the clothes. They're trying to make it about the style. They're trying to make it about the filters. They're trying to make it about the music. But in actuality, it's about a part of our humanity that we left behind there. And, since then have replaced with like cringe, hypercriticism, nihilism, whatever. I think people want optimism and hope back. And a lot of the things that are going on now were in existence in 2016. Same thing with entertainment, right? I think a lot of the really beloved figures of entertainment right now, they were solidified as stars in 2016. Like Chance the Rapper was a star in 2016. I think Charlie XCX, like 2016, she was like already, you know what I'm saying? A lot of the people that we admire right now who are in the prime peak places of their career came up Call Me By Your Name was 2017. So Timothée Chalamet was just starting to percolate in 2016. You get it? You're never more than like 1 or 2 degrees of separation away from 2016. And I think that people are reckoning with the fact that there's an arrested development that we've all been experiencing. We want to go back and reach for it, but don't pick up the ignorance. What you want from 2016 is the optimism, and the difference between that and right now is that whatever optimism you find is an optimism that you have to choose actively. It cannot be the happenstance, the coincidental, the accidental optimism that you just live in, right? It's not the same. It's not the optimism of ignorance. It's the optimism of choosing to look forward to a brighter future. Those are very different things. One is a very active practice, and the other is just something that's a vibe, and again can be taken from you whenever. So like 2016 was cool. I mean, a lot of y'all weren't even there. A lot of y'all weren't even there for real. So I can't even really give you that much noise about it. What I will say was cool about 2016 was the music, dog. Bro, 2016. There were multiple points in 2016 where I remember getting together with people and being like, "Hey, this album is gonna drop. We gotta get together, dude." 2016, when Lemonade dropped. Getting the homies together when Lemonade dropped, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget where I was. The first time I heard Sorry. No, was it Sorry? The first time I saw Beyonce swing that motherfucking baseball bat. Oh, no, they don't love you like I love you. Down, they don't love you like I love you. Go, they don't love you like I love you. I will never forget it. Beyonce swimming in the underwater. Beyonce Daddy's Lessons. I'll never forget where I was the first time me and all the homies got together. This was like literally my first week of college. Everybody got together to listen to Blonde by Frank Ocean. These niggas want Nike. You had to be there, man. 2016, right after I graduated high school, I spent the last 2 years of high school washing cars, doing fundraisers, selling candy. I got a job at Chick-fil-A, blah, 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 all this stuff, because there was this like choir trip that my school got selected for by an outside organization, whatever. And a bunch of us could opt in to represent our school on this like trip to Europe. Mind you, it's already bleak as shit because this is a bunch of schools in Orlando, Florida. And the day that we leave to go to Europe is also the day of the Pulse nightclub shooting. And rest in peace to all of those people. Terrible. And fuck Ron DeSantis for decimating and defiling the memorial site where that tragedy happened and where people have been showing up to show their respect and show their honor to their loved ones that they lost that day. Ron DeSantis painting over part of the memorial site. Fuck him. But anyway, the vibes are all off. I don't think I'm gonna make it through, dude. Like I'm like, no one's having a good time. Like we don't know if I don't know. It just was weird. The morning that we went to the airport to take this trip, like that was on the news. And I only knew because of Twitter. Like there was no TikTok, and like Vine wasn't on that kind of time. Vine was around. Oh my fucking god, Vine. We can't even get we can't even get into Vine. We can't even get into Vine. Vine. We can't even get into Vine, dude. You know, I'm trying to attribute it to Trump, but maybe Vine was the beginning of the end in a lot of ways. That was like America's first taste of short form vertical, and we did not know what to even. Anyway, by the time we land in like London, or I don't know, maybe it was the second country, I look at my phone. I'm getting on a plane. I know this was in Germany, so maybe this was actually the last. Maybe this was actually on our way back to America. I don't know. But I get on the plane and I'm like, holy shit. Chance the Rapper dropped an album. And I go, holy shit. T-Pain is on it. I hadn't heard T-Pain drop anything in years. Mind you, T-Pain later on came out, and I'm sure a lot of you know this, came out and told a story where he was like, yeah, I didn't realize that people were DMing me on Instagram. I didn't know how to check my DM requests on Instagram. So a lot of artists and producers and people had been DMing me for years asking me to collaborate, and I just didn't know. And then I found it. So now I'm collaborating. It's so funny. But the second you hear that, all my day, praying, I'll see the finish line. That shit changed my life. Me, 18, freshly out of high school, like the rest of my life is about to begin. I just got into like a crazy arts program. When I tell you, it was either roll the credits or start the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it was either one or the other, nothing in between. Like that singular moment, I'll never fucking forget it. Thank you, Chance the Rapper, for that. But like 2016, the music was insane. I have some of the top 40 songs here, right? Love Yourself by Justin Bieber and Sorry were number one. One Dance by Drake. Come on. Views came out in 2016. Anti came out in 2016. Blonde dropped. Seat at the Table by Solange dropped in 2016. Stranger Things also came out in 2016, which is also like another thing about the karmic loop of 2016 coming around. You get me? One Dance. Dude, some people will never know what it's like to be at a motherfucking house party, dude. Somebody's fucking house party, like alcohol bottles up as decoration above the cabinets. You know what I'm saying? Hot, not enough AC in Florida. You get me? Like everybody in like skinny jeans and halter tops and all types of what? And One Dance comes on? And you're on a Four Loko, you're off a Malibu and sweet tea. You ever mix Malibu and sweet tea at a party in Florida? That shit'll, oh God. Honestly, I was talking all this shit, but now I kind of miss it, dude. Oh my God. It was just another life. It was so, what's the word? Oh my God, I was about to say it was so safe. It was another life, brother. Oh, God. I take it all back, bro. You had to fucking be there. It actually was just as lit as everyone was making it seem. Yeah, it was that lit. Yeah, it was that lit. It was. I don't care. Summer 2016 was like, wow. I fully 180'd on this. I am still optimistic about the future that's coming. I am. I absolutely am. I don't believe in the traps of nostalgia. I don't believe that we should look towards the past and believe that our joy is centered there and will never leave that place. I believe that my joy is ahead of me. And also, what I would give to be at a house party and hear broccoli come on the speakers. Oh my God. Nothing like it. Nothing like it. Stressed Out by 21 Pilots, crazy. Panda by Designer. Hello by Adele. The Chainsmokers. When was the last time you heard a song by the Chainsmokers? Oh my goodness. Can't Stop This Feeling. Now that's a great one. I know that Justin Timberlake. I know that people don't really aren't too fond of Justin Timberlake now because of the Britney Spears situation and the the kind of the rehashing of that. But I'll say, Can't Stop This Feeling. He put something really demonic in that song because it really gets me activated no matter the setting. Body, put your hands up. Got this feeling in my body. That shit. Oh my gosh. That is good Caucasian music. What the fuck? That's really the kind of shit that people were on in 2016. It was just nothing but positivity and dancing, bro. Bruno Mars was about to collaborate with Cardi B. Niggas were just you didn't have to look cool. You didn't have to look good. You didn't have to look anything. You just had to fucking dance. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. That was the reminiscent of Jersey Shore right there. It was a Jersey Shore fist pumping generation falling in love with dance to like positive hip hop music. I don't even know that. I can't really stand by that. Life of Pablo came out that year. I don't think that that's true, but that's what it felt like, man. Dude, it was so close. Dude, we actually 2016 was the closest that niggas ever got to fixing racism, like dead ass. I was really trying to dispel the myth and dispel the rumors, but 2016 dead ass was that girl. And honestly, I think I was right about all of the reasons. I stand by everything that I said, except for the fact that it was just as lit as everyone says. It's not just the myth of nostalgia. It is a true and shared collective memory. That doesn't mean that you can live in that memory, but I sure wish we could. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for being here. That's time today. I don't know how long I went on that one. That was probably today's 20, and I guess I forgot to smash that button, but you got the gist of it. Listen, my name is Widlin. I'm going to try my best to do an episode next week while I'm in Florida. But if it takes me a little while, then it took me a little while. But I'll meet you right back here, same time, same place. Besos, besos, besos. Te quiero mucho. Te adoro. Mi vida, mi amor, mi corazón. Okay.